Hey everyone, and welcome to the third pedal. This is a 2021 Volvo V60 Cross Country. This is a T5 all-wheel drive, so it's got the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, finished in a nice white. And the Cross Countries get this extra cladding that you see here. It's also a little higher off the ground, which personally I am not a fan of, but can't deny that this car does not look really good from pretty much every angle. I'll give a quick little walk around here, check out the back. Love the way the lights go up the car. You got your dual exhausts. Now they're doing away with dual exhausts on a lot of the new ones. They are going towards hybrid and full electric eventually. So as you can see, very simple interior, not too much going on. Now these are the base model seats. After taking this on a 300-mile trip, I do wish this wasn't a base model. They did kind of feel a little uncomfortable around the 6-hour mark, I will say. That being said, they were still comfortable. It wasn't like I was in pain, but cool little detail. You get your little Swedish flag in the stitching there, and of course your cup holders. You slide this back, you got cup holders, 12-volt outlet, and a little space there, and then you push this one forward and you got more storage space. Close that, and your center console, decent size. I mean, you got to really stuff a lot of things in there to fill that space up. Of course, you got some room in your door pockets. Glove box, good size. Don't really need any more than that. Quick walk around to the back. This is a base model, so I mean, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but it still is nice. Everything feels very quality. You got your heated seats for the rear. The buttons are there. You'll see we can access the heated seats and really everything through that center screen, which is a lot of people, it's kind of either you like it or you don't. Personally, I'd prefer the old Volvos having buttons and stuff, but it's completely up to preference. It's not a bad system at all. Let's open up the hatch here. Of course, it does have the automatic opening hatch. You have your cargo cover, which can go up to load things in there without pulling it out and letting it retract and having to pull it back out. But there you go, there's your ski pass through. Just pull this back down, and of course if you come up you can let it go all the way in. So that's pretty neat, and it just sits like that. Good deep space. Of course, under the mat you have spare wheel and all that good stuff, and then you just hit the button and she'll lower back down. So let's go ahead and hop in. There's your driver door, your window controls and everything. Hop in here. Go ahead and start it up. I do love their start knob. Very nice detail on it. There's your drive mode button, so you click drive mode. And you can go comfort, individual, which is really nice. You can set it the way you want it. Dynamic and off-road and eco. Let's go ahead and close the door. I have it on the performance gauges right now, which you can all change through your settings here. Go to my car, so you can change your individual drive modes, and I'm gonna have to switch to a different SD card real quick. Okay, sorry about that. We're on the new SD card. So I have the central vents closed right now. That way you guys don't have any wind interference from those. So anyways, go back to settings here, my car. I'll show you the displays. We'll start at the top. So we got bright or normal, and that's for your center screen there. And then these are your different gauge clusters. So we got glass, which kind of has a little reflection to it, but not too much. Minimalistic, which has no rings. It's just the not buttons, the numbers. So kind of boring. Performance gives you the red, more aggressive look, and then you have chrome rings, which gives you more of an elegance feel to it, and we're going to put it right back on performance because that is way more fun. We'll hit back here, if I can hit it. Anyways, we'll go into individual drive modes next. So here's where you can set up your own drive mode, and of course you can toggle that by turning that on and off. This is kind of, if you go into this and just want to have everything dynamic, you can hit that, or everything comfort, and then customize from there. That's the quickest way to do it. So say I'm in this, I hit dynamic and everything goes dynamic, and then I just scroll through and change things I don't like comfort. So say you're on the highway, you still want decent force feedback from the steering wheel, which I will say these feel a lot more disconnected than the older cars. We'll get into that on the drive. So yeah, anyways, I put it on comfort, that way it would use all 8 gears in the transmission instead of just holding high RPMs. Also put brakes on or normal instead of dynamic, that way whenever I hit the brakes I didn't go through the windshield. And I turned start stop off and eco climate off. So that's all your stuff in the individual driver modes. You also have your lights, mirrors, and all your other cool stuff. So we'll go ahead and hit back. You can also get to navigation to here, change the sound, media, communication, climate, and then system settings. We'll go ahead and close that out. So the cool thing about this, you obviously have your navigation here as well. You have your media through there, then you have your phone connection here, and then this bottom tab, you can have anything really. You just scroll over, say you want car status, now it's on car status, and that's your last tile. Now this car doesn't have the apps downloaded, so you could have a bunch of different apps, and say you click weather, I know that's an app, then your weather would show up on the bottom. So car status, you can get to simple things, TPMS, your oil level, service status. Come over, go back to driver performance, and it'll switch right back to that. You hit the home button, which is this, and that'll always bring you to your home screen. Onto the climate zone, you click that, you can change your zone where you want it, defrost, AC on or off, or in recirculation. Your fan speeds here, you just click where you want it, or you can turn it all on auto and it'll do its thing after you select your temperature. Now I put on synchronized temperature, that way I didn't have to come over here and click that and do both of them. I just kept them both at 68. And that you can use the plus or minus or just scroll on the thing. Heated seats, you just tap that. Oh, this one even has heated steering wheel. It's not as much of a base model as I thought, but considering it is the summer, we will not turn those on. So that's the cool everything in that. Down here you have your hazards. Then you have defrost buttons, so you don't have to go through the screen. You have your media, so you can skip, pause, turn the volume up and down. Everything feels pretty good in here. Very quality. Here's everything else. Parking brake, automatic braking. This will hold the vehicle at a stoplight without having to hold your foot on the brake. Kind of annoying for me, but I can see it being a convenience if you're in heavy traffic. Of course, driver mode, I already showed you guys that. We'll put it in individual, and then you go back, you just hit the home screen. And you have your voice control and different menu stuff here. This would be for your adaptive cruise control. You change the distance between you and the car in front. This car doesn't have it, being more of a base model. There's your cruise control buttons and everything like that. And this controls your volume, skip, and obviously your little menus screen that you can pop up there. Anyways, before we drive, let's go take a look at the engine. So under the hood, you have this is the T5 engine. It is a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. Now all Volvos switched over to 2-liter 4 cylinders. The numbers on the back mean your aspiration. So T5 is turbocharged only, T6 is turbocharged and supercharged, and T8 is both turbocharged, supercharged, and hybrid. So you can get that on all the different V60 models. They also are coming out with new numbers and letters because they're moving to electric. So I believe the XC40 Recharge, which is their full electric XC40, is the P8 for pure electric. But anyways, there's a look at the engine. They're all the same. You have this little mat. It's like a plush engine cover. So not much to really look at. So let's go ahead and take this thing for a drive. Okay. So we'll go ahead and put this thing into drive. We will put it on individual for now. So this was going to be power. The whole drivetrain is going to be in comfort. The brake's going to be normal. The only difference is the steering is going to be a little heavier, which I prefer. So it'll look like the car's in comfort mode, but me driving it's going to feel a little more sporty. Here's an S60. So anyways, we'll go ahead and pull onto the road here. So as far as the trip goes, it was about 380 miles one way. I spent about seven and a half hours in this car, one way. And honestly, I really did enjoy the drive. The car is very comfortable. As I did say earlier, the base model seats, I wish they were a little more comfortable. That's my preference. For some people, they might love it completely. Seats really something is a preference for everybody. They were by no means uncomfortable, but I've been in the higher trim levels, especially with the older Volvos, and I will say they were a lot more comfortable. But this wasn't bad. Road noise, didn't really hear any of that. This is definitely way more of a luxury car than Volvos used to be. As far as like my S60R goes, that's more of a driver focused car. You feel everything. This way more disconnected, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. If you're trying to get people that are into more of a luxury market like BMW, this car makes total sense. And that's really what they're getting more towards, is more of complete luxury. Not saying the other older Volvos weren't luxurious, but this is a big step up as far as interior development goes. I personally do not like these engines that much. They're not bad. They are underpowered for me. I prefer the 6-cylinder turbos or the turbocharged 5 cylinders. But I mean, as far as this engine goes, it's a good engine. I feel like I would be happier if I had the T6, had that extra supercharger down low, because you do have the turbo lag in this car. So since you have that turbo lag, you're kind of waiting for it. And one thing I did realize on the drive, when I was kind of going up a hill and I needed the power, the car kind of didn't know what gear to go into. So this does have the 8-speed transmission. All the 4 cylinders have the 8-speed. The engine before this had the 6-speed. The same engine, or the same transmission that's in my XC90, the Aisin TF80 SC. This is still an Aisin unit, but it's more modern 8-speed. It does shift faster, I will say that. That is definitely a nice thing that they added. But the one thing, it's like it has too many gears, so it would kind of go up a gear and then realize that wasn't enough, so then it downshift again. It kind of did that until it knew. I mean, it's not like it did it too much. It usually went into 6th or 5th, but it still was. It was kind of annoying. I kind of just wish the car had the power from the start, which the T6 probably has. This is the T5, so a lot of these issues might only be for the T5s, which around town this car is magnificent. It truly is a very comfortable car, great daily driver. I understand the cross country's not coming at the performance market, so comparing it to the R is kind of weird. The new Polestar would be more of a direct comparison with my R, but I have driven the Polestars, and they are way more performance oriented, the nice bucket seats and everything. But I'm trying to focus mainly on this car, since this is the car I kind of had the experience with. This is my first actual long-term possession of one of these newer Volvos. So I can say I liked it overall. And around town, like we're doing right now, it's very comfortable. There is a little twisty road that we will take it on here. I can kind of give more feedback on it. But yeah, you really don't get much feedback through the steering. It's not like the older ones. It's not so bad on the heaviest setting, which is what I have it on now, but kind of when it was in comfort and I was on the highway, it just felt like, you know, you just moved it a little bit and it was going one direction, you move a little bit the other. It just didn't feel comfortable to me. So the heavier setting does feel good, and like on the 2015s you could change how heavy the steering is, but they still were hydraulic assisted. This is there's no hydraulic assist power steering on the new ones. It's all electric, so that would be why it feels a lot different than the older generations. And of course, like my S60R and all the other Volvos I own, they are all hydraulic with the pump. Besides the V50, the V50 and the S40, they both are actually electric pump, but with hydraulic assist. But yeah, as you can see, it's very, very nice. You don't hear anything in the outside. You do hear the turbo when you are under load, so that is kind of cool. Kind of gives this car a little bit of character. The four-cylinder, to me, kind of does lack character. It does sound good for these for four cylinders in general. These new cars, they kind of all sound the same. Kind of pointing the finger at Volkswagen, Audi there. So yeah, let's turn onto this road here. I know there's some good turns on this road. We'll actually pop it over into, we'll put it in full dynamic mode. So as long as you know where the things are, you can do it without looking at the screen, but when you're first getting used to it, it is kind of annoying. So here we are on this road. The car is in complete dynamic now, so this is as sporty as this car gets. And I mean, I'm not going to push it. This road is very twisty and it's not my car to push, but we will see how it kind of handles. As you can see, third gear, it's holding it. That's right where your boost comes in. So that's where your power basically starts, which is nice that the car will hold it. I mean, if I put it over and drive, it still kind of holds it there. Click it back over into manual just because it's more fun. You can get paddles on these cars. This car doesn't have the paddles. I mean, I'm sure if you really did a track test on this car, it would be body roll and all that stuff. I'm not sure to what extent, because like I said, didn't have the car in a performance setting. If you're going for performance, get the R-Design or the Polestar. The Polestar, you get adjustable Öhlins dampers. So the R-Design's great, and they only make like 20 Polestars, 20 S60s, 20 V60s each year. So if you can't get your hands on one of them, the R-Design is the next best thing. Personally, I would get the Polestar, obviously, but if I couldn't, I'd go with the R-Design. R-Designs, you get the T6 engine, and the Polestars, you get the T8. So the T6s aren't hybrid, so you won't get the hybrid assist, but you still get the supercharger and turbocharger. I'm hoping this person turns off. So yeah, here, right there's a pull the shifter. You can see how much quicker it is than the old ones. I mean, it's still not lightning crisp shifts, but it's still better than what it used to be. I believe it is still a torque converter transmission, and it does shift more aggressively at the higher RPM range. We're not on a road that I can really push it into higher RPM range, but anyways, we'll come into this. I'll shut up for a second. You can let the car do the talking here. So yeah, that's the little bit of performance driving I can really get on the roads around here. But yeah, as you can see, I kind of didn't know how much steering input I needed to do going into that first hairpin. That is completely because of the electric power steering. I've driven this road in a lot of my cars, and I've never felt like uncomfortable of how much steering input I need, but probably besides my Monte Carlo, because that's just an American over assisted unit. But as far as this is, like I said, luxury. That's what this car is really for. I'm not saying it's completely unpredictable, but it's not as connected as I would prefer. But the brakes feel great. The pedal's stiffer and more, the throttle and the brake pedal are more responsive in dynamic mode, which we are still in as we're coming down to the end of this road. Fun little test route. I'll go ahead and put her back. As you can see, it's holding the gear, which it does in dynamic. So we'll go ahead and select it back into individual, or maybe we can even put it in eco, see what it does there. So when you put it in eco, you do get rid of your tachometer. You get a little efficiency gauge, I guess is what you call that. Oh, and also I forgot to show you guys, this is all your cool stuff. You can put traction control in sport mode. You can't turn it all the way off. Stop start selected because we're in eco mode. Eco mode automatically turns start stop back on, and as you can see, if I go ahead and put it back into comfort and hit home, slide over, it's off. So eco mode, which, you know what, I changed my mind. It seems a little too boring to drive in. You can get your road sign information that'll pop up there when you go by road signs, like your speed limit and everything. And you have your active bending lights, wiper, service position, all that cool stuff. Your headrest fold forward for better visibility out of the back. But yeah, really simple stuff. It's nice because it's all easy to get to. Once you, obviously you have to learn where your stuff is, but once you know where it is, boom, and it's kind of right there where you're looking for. So that is really nice. Now we just have to wait for this light to turn green. And there's a nice hot rod coming behind us. Looks like a 32, 30, something like that. And here I am in this. So anyways, we'll leave it in drive and we'll see what happens here. So this is just under normal driving. And this is actually a great road to test the comfort on, because this road is very unforgiving. Driving this in the R is like driving on an unpaved road, honestly. So I'm hitting bumps right now and I'm not feeling it. I know this here, you feel that. In the R, that would have been terrible. I probably would have jumped. But this feels great, very comfortable. I do have the speedometer in kilometers an hour on the digital readout there. The dial is miles per hour, in case you're wondering what's going on there. Like I said, very comfortable. All these bumps, I know I'm going over them, but I don't really feel them. And that's something I definitely couldn't say in my older Volvos. Maybe the XC90, since the XC90's on bigger sidewalls and everything, a much more comfortable car, but way more luxurious than they are. And I have Bilsteins on the V50, so obviously I'm going to feel more stuff in that. Let's go ahead and put it back into individual, because I'm kind of bored with that. Get it better steering out of the better steering feel. The hot rod is next to us. Oh, there's a big supercharger on it. It's too bad I'm not in the T6. Maybe he'll take off. Come on, buddy, put her down. I just want to, you can hear the supercharger from here, but he isn't going to use it, which is unfortunate. Fortunately, T5 doesn't have the supercharger, so I wouldn't know. But, like I said, very refined, very quiet. I mean, I could whisper in here. I'm not talking loud at all. In the Monty, in order to talk in that thing, I'm screaming. The R is way more refined than the Monty, of course. I do have the IPD exhaust on it, so you hear it, but you don't have to raise your voice. In this car, you can whisper. It is so quiet, and it's so comfortable. I mean, if you're looking for a car, you know, hard day at the office, hard day at work, whatever you do, you get in this and you're removed. All these people, I mean, I'm doing the speed limit and no one around here does the speed limit, but if you're looking to just get that escape after work, you just need to unwind, this is the car for you. Or something on this caliber. If you're looking into the lower trim BMWs, the 3, the 4 Series, or maybe even the 5, the reason I say is this is the base model. If you're looking in the 5 Series, you're looking more towards more in the T6 range, definitely with more options than a V6 Cross Country. But with being a base model, this car comes well equipped with a lot of things. Oh, I can turn these vents back on. You turn that on with this knob here. It's kind of neat. I realize that AC's been on. I'll turn those down so they don't get the microphone. It is, it's 85 now. It was pretty hot earlier. It was like 95 outside. So I waited till the end of the day. That way I didn't have to have the AC on full blast to not die of sweat. But as you can see, if you just let the car do it, it's one of these cars that you just get in it and let it do its thing. Which I can see when this platform is completely electric, I can see completely how nice and relaxing that will be. People don't stop around here all the time, but I can definitely see how relaxing that will be. You'll just have pure electricity. Of course, electric cars are awesome, but they're not my thing. I'd rather be more I'd rather know I'm driving the car. I'm focusing because this person's going under the speed limit and everyone's getting passed. So I'll go ahead and probably pass them. But yeah, like I was saying, I'd rather have a car that communicates more with the driver, like the R, like an M3. Fortunately, I haven't driven the new M3 yet. I've driven the new M5, and I love that. But I did not drive the new M3. I've driven the old M3, the E46, and I absolutely love the way that feels, especially compared to my R. Both those cars feel so good. And I probably shouldn't be comparing it to those cars, but since that's kind of what I'm interested in, I can't help but to contradict myself with basically reviewing a luxury car in a performance car standpoint. So I apologize for that. But yeah, really this car is very tame, nothing wild. For the normal luxury car buyer, I'd say this is a great entry, especially. But if you get into the higher trim ones, you know, it gets better. Same with BMWs. You get into the 5 Series, start adding more onto it, gets a lot better. But yeah, go ahead and make this next turn. So that is going to conclude today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. So the car, actually really quick, you notice I'm not in dynamic. I'm in comfort, but it's still holding the gear knowing I'm going downhill. Kind of neat. I mean, a lot of cars do that, but I just thought I'd point that out. But anyways, that is going to conclude today's little review of the Volvo V60 Cross Country. Like I said, if you're considering a luxury car like a BMW or Mercedes and you're looking at the entry ones, definitely consider one of these. This is a great car and very good on long trips. So anyways, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.